Hi, mariners and partners. Hop in aboard for Marino World Online. We guarantee enriching MVP or maritime viewpoints. I am your host, Ms. Lynn Bacani of the Marino World Operations. To share his maritime viewpoints, joining us, Rear Admiral Adonis Donato, PCGA, Chairman, OSM Maritime Services. Welcome, Admiral Donato.
Hi, Lynn. Good afternoon. I am very pleased to be a part of our Maritime Viewpoints, and I hope you're doing fine and healthy and safe from any sickness.
Yes, sir. And I'm so delighted to see you again.
Thank you. Same here, likewise.
Admiral, you have vast maritime experience, commanded ocean-going vessels. Do you see any evolution in global seafaring?
Well, if you ask me, and considering my age, we have been sailing from from the 70s to the 80s up to this time. Now, during our time, even before we had this 1978 STCW convention in UK, where I was fortunate to and honored to represent the Philippines as the sole delegate, because some of our supposed to be part of the delegation from then National Seaman Board and the Department of Education, the DFA, and and from the Coast Guard. So during that time, it was very, I would not say primitive, but it was very basic and fundamental seafaring then. And because a lot of maritime disasters was prevailing all over the seven seas, so that the IMO of the United Nations called for this Mother Convention in 1978, especially with the aftermath of this Titanic disaster, and many thousands of lives were lost. So from there on, slowly it has been changing, from having all trying to get all the seafarers from all over the world, different nationalities, to have a standard that they may have, because during those times there was no standard of even of licenses and certification of seafarers. So that was the reason why they have this STCW convention, to standardize all the certification, the training of seafarers, and what's keeping duties. So till then, and during those times, the manning on board vessels are very many, as from 20, 30, depending on, because those are also old-time vessels, not the modern ones now. So after that, as time went by, and then technology started to play, satellite navigation and all of these electronics and automation. So even the manning on board has been reduced so much. Now it's only, you can have 12, 15, and even less than 10, depending on the type and size of the vessel. So it is the evolution has been very fast this time. That's why a lot of conferences after the 78 convention of STCW came into play to again finally improve more of our seafaring watch keeping and all of these duties, and also these the efficiency and testing our licenses, so all of these things. In fact, now the only we have a new concern, of course, is because of this automation coming in, okay? And definitely even the seafaring is being planned and programmed for now for there will be no more manning, you know. It will all be automation, and it'll be by remote control. But hopefully this will take some more times in the years to come, so that we will not also sacrifice, you know, the jobs and the future of our seafarers. So evolution has been going on, going and going, and I think I hope it will not be too fast, so that the seafaring profession will not be so much affected, adversely affected.
No question, Admiral, your credentials are well-rounded. Now, how important are conventions on global seafaring and shipping?
Well, it is very important and very needful, you know, because you know, shipping is very dynamic industry, Lynn. Everything is changing, you know, from uh, electronics, you know, electronic machineries, you know, obviously navigational equipment. All of these are changing, and definitely even rules and regulations concerning the maritime marine environmental protection, all of these protection of our seas, our oceans, you know. So there should these conventions and conferences should continue, because there's always something new every time with the shipping industry and seafaring, and the designs of ships, especially on now we were having even the emission of fuels and smoke on board vessels. They are being controlled because we have to protect the environment, and we are having a lot of shipbuilding, you know. So there are many vessels, and these are all flying around the Pacific and Atlantic Ocean, and the other oceans, and the seven seas of the world. So there should be, since seafaring is an international industry, there should always be an international law, international standard in trying to protect the ocean, and even our crew and all our ports. So it is very important, Lynn. Definitely, there's no question about that.
Mhm. And you were with the group which drafted, worked, and lobbied for the passage of the Merchant Marine Act of 1997, or PMMR. Is there basis to the claim that the PMMR paved the way for the Philippines' entry to the IMO whitelist of complying countries to the STCW 78 Convention as amended in 1995?
That's right, Lynn. That is very right. Now, in 1995 STCW conference, they require a national legislation to ensure that the STCW provisions, you know, of 95 will be included in a national legislation. That is why we have to rush this. This is not the RPMMR. This is the Merchant Marine Act of 1998, no? to ensure that we are in compliance with the provisions of the STCW 95 conference, and without that, no, without that, the Philippines will not be included in the IMO whitelist, because that is one of the requirements for it's an IMO whitelist of complying countries for the STCW 95. And in fact, Lynn, that was very you know, very suspenseful for us. It was, you know, we we were able to have it approved by Congress and the Senate at the last minute. It was like a photo finish job. And in fact, when I was when we were when we were lobbying at the Senate and the Congress, it it the Senate was about to go on recess, and that was the last one of the last agenda on the floor. So we have to even force impress upon Senator Magsaysay then, sir, if you do not pass this before the Congress recess, the Philippines will not be included in the IMO white list, and definitely thousands of our seafarers will lose their job. So Senator Magsaysay did his best, and we were there to support him, and then it was approved. And even when the law was being signed in Malacanang by President Ramos, we were there to witness. And I believe that was a photo finish job, and that saved the day for our seafaring profession. So we were included in the IMO white list that time.
Mhm. For our nagging problem today, Admiral, EMSA's threat to delist the Philippines from boarding European Union flag vessels. What are your views on our government response to issues raised by EMSA auditors?
You know, Lynn, that EMSA audit on our maritime administration is a very, very delicate and complicated thing. But you know, as we were discussing this very, very candidly before, you know, the situation is like this. As far in my own viewpoints, the Philippines, you know, being you know, a lot of many islands like that, and then we have different regions, and we have a lot of nautical institutions, nautical schools, and it will not be very easy. Before, if I can tell you a little short story, when during my time when I was still sailing, and I was sailing as master for about 5 years, when we came when we touched port in UK, in England, you know, the port captain, the British port captain came on board and asked me and said, how many schools do you have in the Philippines? So I said, plenty. But he was surprised. So he said, why plenty? How many? I said, about that time, maybe 70 or something during my time. About that was in the early 80s. And he said, it was too many. I said, why? In UK, in England, how many do you have? You know, I remember he just said, about 3. And why 3? Why? Because there is no future, he said. You know, because Filipinos took our job. You see, so I was thought I have to answer. I said, no, my friend, I don't think that is a correct judgment on us. You don't have to say that. We are both in the same profession. We are brother in the profession of seafaring, regardless of what race we belong. And the Filipinos definitely did not take your job. We are not that rich country who can go to you, okay, to come here. But it is mostly your ship owners who came to Asia, to Philippines, or maybe because of economics reasons that they cannot afford, no? So please do not say that, no? And then again, sometime after a couple of years or 3, I went also to Norway. When I stayed there, I went to a video shop, and then one Norwegian middle-aged man, of course, he could recognize. Are you Filipino? You Filipino? Of course, I will say yes, I am. Seaman? Because I don't know why he knows that we're all seamen. I said yes. I asked him also, Habiko, oh, are you a seaman also? Yes, I am. What position? And then he said, oh, Spark, meaning radio officer. I said, oh, are you still sailing? No more. Why? Then he pointed at me because Filipinos took our job. So this kind, I said again, no, please do not have that kind of mentality. That is wrong. I cannot even come to Norway here unless I was invited and I was sponsored, you know. So what I'm trying to say here, Len, is so in our briefing, even with our Filipino seafarers, our crew, we told them, do not brag so much when you have a mixed crew with a foreigner, especially with all kinds, especially with the Europeans, because they have this they have this inside feeling, natural feeling, that we are a threat to them. So I don't even know, Lynn, whether this has something to do also, if this is something political also, the Seafarers Union of UK and the other Europeans. I don't know if it plays a political side on what is happening also, why we are being, very hard for us to pass the EMSA audit. I hope, I don't want to insinuate anything. This is only my own personal viewpoint. So I told them, I told our crew, you must respect other nationalities. We belong to the same industry and profession. So now, as I said, we have too many schools. It is almost near to impossible, Lane, that you can monitor all of these schools, and you can demand for them to have the same high standard that will, because it is very expensive to have all of these simulators and everything, instructors and everything. So it is very difficult to have a standard, uh, uh, you know, for them to be able to comply with all these standards and all Philippines or all schools. So I was thinking, to my mind, it will be very difficult for us, really, even 1 or 2 years from now. I think it will be very difficult for us to pass the audit if that is the way they will audit us. If you have, let's say, 70, 80 schools and 3 do not pass, then they fail everyone. They fail the administration. How can you survive then? Now, if I were to know, I am not even qualified, but my own personal point of view, what should be done if EMSA is also playing it on the level, right, with us, non-political. We are friends with the Europeans. We should follow the IMO standard. What I mean is process. Why don't we have a whitelisting of our own schools? Meaning, if you have 70, you should have a whitelisting of those who can qualify. If they qualify, then. So, but this is really very political and it is very difficult. So I think our administration, Marina and Chad, and all, even our professionals are helping. But this is a gigantic task. So it is impossible if you have that vast number of schools and we have to standardize all of them to pass at the same high standard. So it is really a dilemma. But I hope and pray that there should be supposed to be a how do you call this, a compromise solution, if EMSA will also listen. Because if you ask me also, Lynn, why, in spite of all this very always failing our on the standard of the schools and everything, to my mind, the quality and the competence of our seafarers, Filipino seafarers, officers and rating, why are we still in demand? Why do we still rank as 1 or 2 in the whole international seafaring world. If we are that bad, tell me, Lynn, do you think our ship owners will take the risk of getting bankrupt if our seafarers, Filipino officers and seafarers are that bad and that unsafe? So what is happening here is only, to me, everything is in the books, all our paperworks, all right? And it's very, very difficult. We even tried before, Lynn, we even tried before during our time when we were working with the government, helping PRC while we were in the professional organization. We were able to, there was a time we were able to reduce to 25 or something the number of schools. But that did not last long. Why? Because the Philippines being a archipelago, okay? So different islands, different lawmakers, congressmen, they also want their own local nationals to be able to join the seafaring profession. So they wanted to put also their own nautical school from in the different region, different islands. And if the government will be very strict, like Chad, like Marina, the problem is when it comes to Congress, and then there is a budget hearing, they will question the administration. Why are you limiting the schools? Education is supposed to be a responsibility of the government. Why don't you like us? Why don't you allow us to put up our nautical schools? If that is the case, we will reduce your salary to 1 peso a year. What can you do now, Lynn? Will you challenge them? These are all problems. So I even heard some you were also interviewing some the early ones before ones. They said, what's happening now? They still believe it's more political. And I am afraid also maybe the other seafarers of the world, especially the Europeans, they would like to have a bigger slice of the piece of the cake in seafaring. Maybe they say that Filipinos have been there for 20, 30 years, trying to be number one in employment and on the national vessels. So you cannot avoid. They will also try to come up and try to dislodge us also. But these are all no. But my Dennis, I hope and pray that there will be a compromise solution with the AMSA, IMO on this, because in actual practice, Lynn, our education, when it comes to actual sailing on board, the seafaring career of every Filipino officers and rating have always been generally successful and with flying colors. I do not brag, but I also became master for 5 years. And most of the Europeans love us, Filipinos, because not only on technical things, but how in human relations, they love us. Sometimes they are lonely people, but we cheer them up. We cheer them up during Christmas. We play the band, we sing with them, and they say, whenever there is Filipino on board, we are very happy. Now you want to kick us out, Lynn? I don't think that is fair. It's still political, but I hope and pray na if the other nations would like to be, to have a piece of the cake almost the same with us, I think it's okay. To me, you cannot always, you cannot be too selfish in this world. I say, oh, we are number one. We are number one. We will never be number two. I don't care what you do. Come on. As I told the Norwegian ship master that my friend, we are brothers in profession. We respect one another, regardless of our race. So we should not hate one another. We should support one another. That's why in OSM, we have a lot of officers worldwide, right? We have in China, we have in Europe, and everything. And we have different kinds of mixed crew and another. But we support one another because shipping is an international industry. Filipinos cannot serve alone the whole shipping industry. So if it is only a matter of trying to equal the pay, okay, let them also go up a while. No, that's my point of view, Liam. So I hope I'm not bugging you so much.
Was that realized also during these pandemic times, the multinational crew serving on board?
Yes, yes, definitely. In fact, the way I see it, uh, in fact, even the Filipino seafarers are actually remember during the pandemic time and the influx of the pandemic last year or 2 years when they cannot sign off the vessels, right? Even many foreign vessels came to the Philippines, okay, and we opened the borders to them so that they not only the Filipinos but even the other foreign seafarers, a crew can go down and then they can take the flight also back home. So I think there should be our seafaring profession industry. We should try to work together. There should be a brotherhood, regardless of nationality, because to me, Lane, it is not only our Filipino seafaring industry that should survive. If we will be only thinking of that, if the shipping industry and the seafaring industry internationally will go down, where will the Filipino seafarers go anyway? So it is supposed to be live and let live. All right. So if it is a matter of why Filipinos are very many, and then some of the Europeans and lost their job, these are the political things. So that's if they cannot do something, they will do it the hard way for us. Let them not pass. So there will be a reduction of Filipino seafarers on board European vessels, right? But look at this also, Lynn. I am not trying to be here. What I'm trying to say is why I think most of also of the Europeans, they're good friends. They're good friends. Norwegians, even Asian, Japanese. Why do they put also their own training center or school here? Why? Why would they invest, Lynn, if they do not really believe that Filipino officers on rating or seafarers are not good enough for them to take the risk? They put up their own training centers. They put up their own, together with us. We have the NSA association. We have the Naval Training Center. We have this cooperation. So let's say if EMSA will remove us or whatever, I think those who invested with us will not also allow that they cannot take seafarers. So there could be other options. I don't know now. I don't like to say things, but there could be a bilateral agreement. And instead of Philippine license, Philippine certificates, they can use, because they are being trained on the standards of these Europeans, like the NSA and the Japanese and the others. I just hope and pray, Lynn, that things will settle down, and there will be a compromise, and we will be friends with the Europeans, whoever are doing this. All seafarers should be given an equal footing of the cake and piece of the cake. Okay.
Does OSM serve European flag vessels too?
Definitely, Lynn, we have NIS vessels, NIS means Norwegian flag vessels. Okay. And we have also from Norway, we serve also the Denmark vessels, Danish vessels. What else? A lot of them, and then we have but most of them are with NIS flags, right? So that's it.
Mhm. And OSM carries a cadetship program. Is OSM one of the pioneer partners of the Philippines NSA's cadetship program, the Norwegian Ship Owners Association's cadetship program?
Yes, I would like to say so. Lynn, I think we are, if we are not the first, I think we are one of the first. But I remember we were the first partner of NSA and NTC, OSM. No, in fact, until now, we have remained with them because we believe in the quality and of training and the standard that and this is working very, very well until now. And the cadetship program we have are well maintained, well supervised, no? And we have this cadetship program. We are also having their career development plan for them. All right, and all of this, even their leadership training is being monitored. So I believe it is working very well for us, and I think it is also good that we are able to answer and to respond to address all the requirements of our Norwegian ship owners, our principals. And this will continue, Lynn. In fact, I think we have about 900 plus now NIS cadet graduated, and others are now officers because we started it very quite long time. So I think the cadetship program is working very well, and we are very very much confident, no? That our future officers in the fleet, coming especially from NSA, will do, they will serve with flying honors.
Where and how do you get your cadets to sponsor? All of these are ship owners sponsored cadets?
Yes, that's right, Lynn. We are getting, as of now, we have a agreement with UCLM in Cebu and the LCD in Davao, okay? And all of them are surely sponsored, because that's what I'm trying to say before, Lynn. The problem with us, if we have too many nautical schools, and then we graduate, because of this, so many schools, 70, 71 or more than that, we graduated an estimated about 20 to 25,000 a year. And then the manning of the shipping industry here in the Philippines, we can only accommodate about 5 to 7 or 10,000 at the most. So most of them are not able to continue with their seafaring. Most of them go to Jollibee and everything. So we have to make sure that when we train, when we train our cadets, educate them, make sure that they will be sponsored before even they graduate. That's why we are limiting it also to the number of requirements of our principals, so that make sure that when they graduate, they have already a vessel being prepared not waiting for 1 year or 2 years and then trying to work ashore, waiting for a chance. That is the problem with too many nautical institutions, schools, maritime schools.
But how can we encourage more ship owners to sponsor Filipino cadets?
Well, I don't know if that is the right question, because I believe we don't have even to encourage too much. We don't have to put so much effort in trying to convince our ship owners, because the result of the performance of our officers and seamen and even our cadets on board will speak for themselves, right? But the thing is, they can only get up to what they can carry, meaning they cannot get more than that. So if the requirements in the cadets is, let's say, only, let's say, 10 or 20 in 1 year or 50, then they will limit that. So I think there is no problem in trying to convince them, because they are the ones also required. Maybe what you're trying to say is, remember also there are also maritime cadets in other countries, foreigners, right? So there will be still a competition. But if the training of the cadets are standardized, let's say if NSA, like example, NSA will also go to the other countries, the same standard of training for cadets. In the Philippines, the same. So there is no much difference. The only problem here now for the cadets is their proximity to the host country. Meaning, the Europeans will take also from the European side of cadets, because Philippines is very far in Asia. So that could be also a determining factor how much they will get cadets from the Philippines and Asia to their own European region cadets. But as far as quality is concerned, I believe it is more or less standardized, because it's the same training institution working. NSA, in whatever countries, they have the same standard. Like the other also, Japanese also, they have their own standard, regardless of whatever countries they go to or whatever nationality of cadets they train.
Admiral, you are the face of OSM for your big heart and integrity.
Wow.
That's why you were honored with the company's charitable foundation to your name. How does the OSM Adonis Donato Foundation brings OSM's CSR and charitable activities? Any expansion, sir? Especially we had this pandemic.
Well, yes, thank you very much, Lynn, and I hope I do justice to such an honor and recognition for OSM to put my name also in the OSM Foundation.
Well deserved, sir.
Say again?
Well deserved, sir.
Thank you, thank you. I hope I can continue to do justice. But the CSR, corporate social responsibility function of OSM itself is embodied in the foundation. But our aim is our mission is to develop the youth of our country, to make them to develop them into a sociable, responsible citizen. And we do this, say, because we have a program like a scholarship program. But this scholarship program is for college, right? So we take scholars, candidates from the indigent parts of the country. But if they have the potential, intelligence. I mean, they are they have the potential to go to college, right? So we take it from uh, the indigent uh, areas of the country, and we take also scholars from the seafarers families, right? And also a few from our own staff, land land-based staff in the offices, you know? So but there is a standard that they should also pass to determine that. And as of now, we have about 503 scholars already, uh, and that's different parts of the country. That is for the one program of the foundation. Another is we have this ISD, you know, yung intensive social development program, where we help the with the public schools, you know, in the social development, by trying to help them with you know, giving them the supplies and provision for schools. Sometimes we try to improve the facilities of the school. Okay, especially if there was a typhoon, you have to repair them, you know, you have to give them classroom, whatever it is. And that is another program. And the other one is, of course, disaster response development program. Like in during the recent Odette, we were able to go to Southern Leyte also, the most hit there, hard hit there during the storm, and we were able to help about 600 families also. So these are all part of it, and that was even during these pandemic times. But of course, you have to understand also, Lynn, that we are also limited in our funds, and we are also trying to ask some maybe some of our principals, ship owners, who believes in our social responsibility program, and they sometimes also donate some funds so we can continue the program, and we can even try to expand it to have more beneficiaries in this.
And I am following your foundation's activities. Your employees are very much involved. They are very
Yes.
active in donating and in the activities of the foundation.
That's very touching, no? And I'm very grateful and thankful to our own staff also, our staff and employees, because the foundation is not only trying to dole out or to give help to the poor, but to develop a sense of charity in the hearts of our people. Okay, because you cannot give what you do not have. So if you do not have a giving heart, what will you give? So it's also trying to uh, to submerge us, no, and teach our own people that God is love. You know, we have to be kind. Kindness is better than being right all the time. Okay, if you give, even the Lord said, uh, uh, whatever you reap, whatever you sow, you shall reap. Kung ano itinanim mo, yun ang aanihin mo. So it's always good to be charitable, to be kind. God has been kind to us. He always gave us life, the breath of life, give us what we need. So we should also do our part to our fellow men as much as we can, according to our own capacity and limitation. I think that's served the purpose of the foundation.
Admiral, any other message you wish to share with our viewers? Especially, you were always saying the seafaring profession is so noble.
You know, when I was president of the Masters and Mates Association of the Philippines, long time, 10 years ago or something, I used to ask our seafarers during their induction those board passers in PRC, when they pass their board exam, they have to be inducted in the MAMAP, or our professional organization. I always ask them in front of them during my speech, why did you join? Why did you join the merchant marine profession? Why do you want to be a seaman? And you know what? They always say, Lynn, sorry, they say to earn dollars or to see the world for free. You know, so I told them, okay, that's the perk of the profession. But if you are always only thinking that that is your very reason why you joined the merchant marine profession, I'm sorry, but I think you are in the wrong profession. No, that's why I told them, see, every time I see seafarers before seamen, I look at their face and I saw dollar sign here. I told them, if that is the very reason why you joined the merchant marine profession, I believe this profession will go down to the dogs. If you do not know the value of your profession, if you do not know the nobility of your profession, the importance of your profession, you cannot respect it. And if you cannot respect your profession, you cannot respect the importance and the nobility of your profession, you cannot serve your best. That's why all of us, makikita ko, most of them are always saying, dollars and so, buti nga, nag-euro na ngayon. Dollars and so. But sabi ko, look, I think you are in the wrong profession. So I told them, do you know, how can you respect your profession if you do not know how important it is or how noble it is? When look, all of the other professions, with due respect, we respect all the due. Let's say doctors are noble. A noble profession because they cure people. Teachers because they educate people, right? And architects because they build homes, whatever, nurses, so and so. But I told them, but the seafaring profession is second to none when it comes to nobility. And let me explain why. Say, look, okay, the doctors can cure what they can cure, how many people. Look, the seafaring profession, if there is no vessel, in the world, first I told them this is the background. Our world, the earth itself, what kind of world is it? How many percent water and how many percent dry land in our globe? Tell me. In average, 70% water and 30% land. So the world itself is a maritime planet. And if it is being the maritime world, what is the main transport? Ships, vessels. We're going from one port to another port. And without now the merchant vessels carrying all of these vital goods, okay, food, supplies, right, medicines, and all of these construction materials, energy materials, fuel, oil. Okay, without merchant vessels flying the whole world, many areas of people or countries will die of hunger. You know, Ethiopia, Bangladesh, all of these with famine, a great famine. They need rice, they need medicines, and these are mostly transported by ships. Without vessels, merchant vessels carrying food and everything, many will die of hunger. Without merchant vessels carrying all these construction materials like cement, all of these, steel, lumber, there will be no economic construction of the world development. And without energy product like oil and everything, you see, there will be nothing in this world. All of our needs daily, even your watches, your cell phones, all of these, computers are all carried, mostly carried on board vessels. So I told them, our seafaring profession is very noble. The seafaring profession is, it serves humanity, it preserves lives and humanity, it helps in the uh, economic development of the whole world. Look also, if we look at it also, Lynn, transport itself, because 90% of the world trading is done through shipping, right? So imagine na lang, Lynn, if our the land transportation, if they go on strike for one day, what happens to the students, the office workers, the people are stranded, right, on the streets. But imagine also, if all the vessels in the whole world, in all the ports in the world, decide to strike for 1 hour, no vessels will move. You know what will happen to the whole world? In a figure of speech, the world will stop turning. Everybody is waiting for cargoes, valuable cargoes, food, medicines, oil, like. But if all vessels decide to go on strike for 24 hours. So look at it. Now, if vessels, especially merchant vessels, are very, very vital and important, my question next is, do vessels move by themselves, or they are being manned by seafarers? Without the seafarers as crew of vessels, those vessels will not move. Without the crew, the seafarers manning the vessels, million very, very precious vessels, multi-million vessels, carrying valuable cargoes, without crew competent enough to sail the vessel safely from one port to another in the earliest convenient time. Okay, this will. So I would say the seafaring is very noble. If you stop sailing, the world will stop living. Because you cannot carry 1 million tons of cargo and put it on the plane, it may not take off. But vessels like aircraft carrier, like vessels like ULCC and all of these, they are like a floating city. And you can carry as much. If most of us are Bible-believing people, God-fearing people, we can believe that in the first world, before the destruction of the first world by the great flood, right? You have read that in the Bible, during Noah's time, right? Now, during Noah's time, there was God judged that the world will be destroyed because man's heart had always been evil, okay? And it repented him to make man. So he asked, what did God use to save the next generation of people? He talked to Noah because Noah saw he saw grace in the eyes of God. He said, Noah, build me an ark. What is an ark? A boat, a ship, right? And put your family and the pairs of animals, because I will destroy the whole world and you will start the new world, right? So God used a vessel, and that vessel is the one transporting animals and people. It's like a merchant ship, right? And that was the vessel used to save the next generation after the great flood covered the whole earth. So seafaring, remember, to me, seafaring, shipbuilding is the oldest industry, because he told Noah to build. But Noah is the first shipbuilder, and God is the divine architect, because he was the one who gave all of these instructions, the measurement, the kind of materials to use. Now, when it was flooding and sailing, and God was flooding the whole world, the first shipmaster is Noah, correct? But the pilot, the divine pilot, is God, because there was no rudder, there was no helm. It was just floating, and God was blowing it to safety and to land. So you can see our profession, seafaring in ships, is not only noble, it is also pious. It is also providential. God used it. The vessel is a sacred vessel. It saved the next generation. That's why you and I are here. So if we tell this, and my only concern also, I heard also one of our, your former NTC, he said, my concern is how can we convince the new generation, the young generation, to join the merchant marine, right? Because of this, all of these computers and all of these ITs, and they don't want to sail. But you see, Len, that is also my very, very concern. If people will not like to join anymore seafaring, you know what will happen to the world? As I already explained to you, that we are all dependent on the supplies of being carried by vessels, food, grains, construction material, energy product, all of these computers and everything. So, you know, my concern also, seafaring is a very, very valiant job. Seafaring lane is not for all people, not for all men. I would not even say women, not for all men, because if their heart is not really for the sea, they will not stay long. The problem is another problem here, Lynn, I could see many seafarers, even officers, retired before they can become masters or chief engineers. You know why? They're more concerned with business, right? They joined the merchant marine. When I reach, when I have saved enough, I will go down. Even if I am second mate, chief mate, I have enough, I go down, let's do business. Of course, I understand. They want to be with their family. But if that is the mentality of all seafarers, of all merchant marine officers, there will be no more master and there will be no more chief engineers. Then the ships will not sail, because the ships cannot sail with chief officer. So you see the peril and the danger of our profession. Now, it is very important, and in the high school, before they graduate, some people like us who are very, who are very, very motivated, must inspire them to say, seafarers are special kind of people. I know it's hard, but if it is in your heart, you must love your profession. It is saving the world. You cannot stop sailing. if ships do not move anymore because there are no more senior officers, remember then, Lynn, before when the European master almost retired everyone, and they're now looking for Filipinos, but Filipinos, they cannot immediately go because they have been held before not to go to management level. Now they nag-retire na yung ano nila, they want na Filipinos, you see? So it is important, Lynn, that motivation and inspiring. We must instill in our youth, those who wants to go to college, tell them what is the merchant marine seafaring. Okay, it is a very noble, very valuable, it is very important, it is a very valiant job. But you are doing this for humanity's sake also, not only for your own pocket or your family, for your country, for the seafaring profession, shipping industry, and for the love of God. Okay, so thank you very much, Lynn.
Thank you so much, Admiral, for your inspiring and enlightening views and concern on our maritime priorities.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lynn. It is my pleasure and my honor to be invited here. Take care and also God bless.
Rear Admiral Adonis Donato, PCGA, Chairman, OSM Maritime Services. Thank you for watching Maritime Viewpoints. Stay on board. Subscribe to Marino World Online for more meaningful maritime news and views, and a chance to win Gcash loads.
I've watched your right.
It's my beast, recognize.